what's going on? We got brushless setup with belt drive, no tensioner. But then we got the E200 brake kit as well. So I'll be explaining that to you guys and a couple more things. Stay tuned. Alright, trying to make this a quick video. We got the belt assembly. You can get this on AliExpress for about 12 bucks. You can also get this from Amazon for about 35 bucks. And then you're going to have the E200 assembly here. You're not even going to use this part. You're just going to unscrew this lefty-loosey. You can use a vise. You can do a couple different things to get this off. Or you can buy this whole assembly off of Amazon. I'll link both of those. Or, of course, I can't link a used scooter, but I will link this on Amazon. Next, you're going to have to cut down the spacer that comes with your hub to approximately 40 millimeters. And you could print this little guide here to keep it centered if you want. After you do that, you're going to have to do a couple different spacers as well. If you buy a used E200, it'll come with big spacers you can cut down, or you can just buy these, of course, from Ace or Amazon, whatever you want. And all these measurements will fluctuate. The belt should stay the same. You might need some spacers between your motor mount because, like I said, all these measurements fluctuate between all these different generations of carts. It's not the same between your width of your fork and the height between the top of your fork and the bottom where your axle sits. That is all different. So, you know, kind of start with these and go from there. So the spacer that's going to go on your sprocket side is going to be 30.36 millimeters. And the spacer that's going to go on your brake side is going to be approximately 25.12 millimeters. This is a sprocket for your motor. Again, we're working on brushless, so this is a 15 tooth, 10 millimeter center bore, 16 wide sprocket. I would recommend the round 7070 Flipsky motor, or the round shaft rather. And again, your belt is going to be a 550 5M with 15 width. You can get this on AliExpress. You can get it on Amazon. Same with the wheel itself. You can get this on AliExpress or Amazon, like I mentioned. And the main thing with this setup is this guy. When you buy this, you're gonna have to cut this down. So the threads are too tall up here. So you're gonna need to cut this down so the threads are about 4 tall. Get in here with like a grinder or a Dremel or something like that. And you're gonna get in here and grind this part down right here. So the threads are about 4 tall. And then you're gonna thread it onto your wheel, just like this. So you should be seeing your hub or your wheel kind of stick out right there. You put your spacer in there, it's going to be the smaller spacer, and then your brake assembly, there's no spacer on this side between this piece and your fork. For the top, you're going to need this guy. I use a pin actually, I'm just going to trash this, and I use a pin going through the forks, cut a hole in your forks. This will hold the top of this assembly onto your forks, and you could take off this cotter pin for quick removal. I got this at Ace, and this is about 0.18 by approximately 1.4 inches. This is the tool I use to get my brake assembly apart for when I need to change the tire. I got this from Harbor Freight. This just goes in here and you can turn it left, you know, tighten it, whatever you want to do. And that's that. There's no tensioner on this setup, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to grind this down, so you know that's one thing you have to take into consideration. So this is how I have everything ran right here. Like I said, that pin goes through your fork, and then just go like this for easy on and off, and then you kind of zip tie it off and keep this far away. But what I did was I just looped it a tiny bit just so it has enough to go around like that free, and then I designed this guy to kind of retain it on the frame, and I ran it in the frame under the seats up to the drift bar. This is a charged up 3D mount, and there's no hole to send the harness straight up to the forks. So I went ahead and I drilled a hole. This is a stepper bit from Harbor Freight, and you drill a hole in the corner there, and then you can drill out the hole in your fork, and you can send that harness straight up just like the original motor, and it goes right to your controller with no extensions, nothing like that, and it's super clean. The mount you can get from the homie Clayton Morris, actually, with the hole pre-drilled, and that's $25 shipped on Facebook. You got to hit him up, so that's definitely a deal that I would recommend. It makes everything very clean with the wiring, just like a stock motor. If you have any questions, comment below, and you could check out 3D Carts Co. for graphics kit, pedals, a whole bunch of different stuff. And you could request stuff too if you think something should be designed. Later.